Today, I'm going to be attempting to survive 100 days in Bedrock Minecraft Hardcore. I want to build cool structures, beat the game, and even defeat the Wither. So, let's jump straight into it. You all know how these worlds begin. It's the same whether you're on Java Edition or Bedrock Edition. I jumped into lava, ending the world. Nah, just kidding. I started by punching down a tree for wood so I can get a crafting table and sticks to craft up a wooden pickaxe. I then collected some sugarcane on my way to finding a massive cave in the ground. However, before I go further into that, I was going to go ahead and collect some stone so I could upgrade my pickaxe and then collect even more stone so I could get all the tools that I would need. Now, I was really debating whether I should go into the cave or not. You know, it would be pretty risky. Who am I kidding? It's day one, who cares? So down in these caves, I was really only here to gather two different items, and that was some iron and coal. I went around for a little while collecting all these items until eventually I was attacked by a skeleton and I had no food. So I realized I should probably just get out of there. Back up at the surface, I crafted up two furnaces, one to cook up some food and the other was going to be used to cook up my iron. Whilst waiting for all of that, I gathered some more food. And then all I could really do now was wait for everything to finish smelting. And using the iron, I crafted up full iron tools, though the iron armor would have to wait a little longer because I needed to look for some sheep for a bed. It was starting to turn nighttime and I really didn't want to deal with monsters right now. There was really only one problem with this situation that I was in right now though. There were no sheep and loads of monsters, and to add to all of that, I was out of hunger. But luckily, I saw a village off in the distance. So after collecting some wheat and potatoes, I stole the bed from a villager and went to sleep. Now, before leaving the house, I went ahead and crafted up some bread with the wheat that I stole yesterday. I also chucked some more food and iron into the furnaces, and then I finally went outside and I was instantly attacked by a skeleton, sending me down to 2 hearts of health. Luckily, just before it peeked around the corner, it did burn from the sun, so I guess I can live a little longer. Apart from that, I crafted up full iron armor with the rest of my iron, as well as a bucket. And then I went exploring. I looted a ruined portal, though it didn't really give me a whole lot of loot. So, putting that aside, my goal for today was to simply loot another 2 villages that I saw whilst running around. I stole a few items from the first village, and I also spared the iron golem's life. You're welcome. And then I started running over to the second village, which was an acacia village. And as I was looting the village, inside a chest, I found the sponsor of today's video. Let's start our brand new Minecraft Hardcore world. Oh, a village? My luck is so good. Wait. Is that a lucky block? Bro, we have to open this. My luck is so good right now. All right, come on. Give me something good. What? My village? What the heck? Unleash the chaos into your Minecraft world. Open lucky blocks and gear up with custom overpowered armor and weapons to fight off brand new bosses. There are 18 different lucky blocks for you to explore, bringing a wide range of awesome features to play with in your Minecraft world. The lucky blocks add-on is now available on the Minecraft marketplace. Check it out with the link in the top of the description or pinned comment. Anyways, back to the video. This was a pretty successful day as I was able to get loads of food from all the hay bales and other stuff scattered around these villages. And well, the sun started to set, so you know the deal. I went to sleep. I now have armor, tools, and food sorted out. And since those were really the main things I needed to survive right now, I decided I was going to start wasting some time. Kind of. You see, I was now going to go out exploring, looking for a location where I could start building up my first house. And maybe even expanding out and building even more houses in the future too. Who knows? Also, you may notice I'm not using the built-in day counter, and there is a reason for that. I personally don't like the way that it looks. However, if you guys want me to use this in a future video, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Eventually, I found a location that I thought would be good enough to set my future house at. So I grabbed some wood from a nearby forest in order to craft up a chest so I could clear my inventory out. It was pretty messy from all that mining and village looting. And that pretty much sums up the entire day. So now it's time to sleep. But yeah, okay. So now, although this area was pretty good, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't flat enough. So I did a whole lot of digging. You know, after playing Bedrock for a while, I've come to a realization, and that is that Bedrock really isn't that bad. There is one thing that I would like on this version of the game though, and that is a replay mod, because long and boring digging parts like this would be a whole lot cooler in the video if I actually had replay shots. Anyways, during this, I broke loads of shovels. Actually, in fact, hold on, wait a minute. Editor, how many shovels did I break during this flattening process? Damn, that's a whole lot of shovels. Well, it's a good thing that I had now completed flattening this area out because I was using a lot of materials crafting up more shovels to dig this place out. Anyways, the next day, oh man, what the heck? Where did this guy come from? Well, I quickly cleared out my inventory because I was now going to focus on mining again. I currently had iron armor, but if I got full diamond armor sooner rather than later, I'd be able to survive even longer. I quickly wrote down my coordinates and now equipped with everything I would need for this mining trip, I went out exploring, looking for a big cave to go down into, which I actually found pretty quickly. I mined up some iron ore, and then I jumped down even further into the cave as I saw an amethyst geode. I did want to craft up a spyglass at some point, so seeing this was actually quite convenient. Besides that, I just went around fighting off mobs and mining up random ore. Eventually, I also had to smelt some iron to get another pickaxe since mine broke, but putting that aside, I went exploring deeper into this cave, eventually finding an even bigger cave, which was great because now it would allow me to get diamonds. I found a whole lot of small veins, which was like 1 to 2 diamonds per vein in this cave, and I was also ambushed by tons of mobs every time I wanted to mine up more. It was really challenging in here and quite annoying too, but I'm better than that. There's so many mobs.
Hello?
Oh my god. A slime? Oh, I'm low. Yeah, I just went around collecting loads of diamonds as that's my main focus right now. I needed a total of 24 diamonds for the full diamond armor and another 11 diamonds for every single diamond tool. On top of that, I'd also need to get another 2 diamonds if I wanted to get an enchant table as well. So yeah, I needed loads of diamonds. I did also have a close call with baby zombies, but apart from that, by the end of the 3rd mining day, I was now on 20 diamonds. We are getting closer and closer. All right, I cannot be bothered talking about mining anymore. By the end of day 10, I was at 24 diamonds. I continued mining and ended day 11 off with 34 diamonds, and by day 12, I was at 39 diamonds. Though I was going to use 3 of them to craft up a diamond pickaxe and collect 14 obsidian. Obviously, so I could get myself a nether portal and enchant table when I got back home. Speaking of home, after running around the caves for a little while longer, I kind of realized I had more than enough diamonds for everything that I would need to craft up, which meant I could return back home. I dug straight up, and by the time I got back up to the surface, it was nighttime again. So I now had to run back home whilst dodging all the mobs that were not the biggest fans of me. And since it was nighttime, I noticed Enderman was spawning. And from the last time I played on Bedrock Edition, I realized how annoying it was to gather ender pearls. So I had the idea of just collecting some now, so it would save me some time in the future. I spent the rest of the night fighting off Enderman, using the river near my house location as protection. Another zombie? Get out of here! Man, what's with all the zombies attacking me first thing in the morning when I sleep in this bed? Well, anyways, that was a good mining session. We were now quite rich. I quickly started smelting all my gold and iron, cleared out my inventory a little bit, and then I could go ahead and craft up full diamond armor, all the tools, as well as an enchant table. I then enchanted everything. Oh yeah, I also built the nether portal up. I might move this later, but it's good enough here for now. I also collected some flint from a gravel patch, crafted up a flint and steel, and boom, the nether portal was complete. This was a pretty chill day. I didn't really do anything else. I now wanted to start building up my main house very soon. However, before I could do that, I needed to gather materials, loads of wood and loads of stone. So I started gathering all the materials I would need. There's only really one issue right now though, and that is I forgot to start recording the gameplay sounds whilst gathering all these materials, so unfortunately we won't be having any of those really fast cutting montages during this material gathering process. Obviously, I started with the birch wood, and then I moved over to the spruce wood forest to gather spruce wood, and then finally I returned back to gather some oak wood as well. And once I thought I had enough wood to complete my first house, I then went ahead and entered into a small cave underground to start gathering loads of stone. I collected so much stone, look at my pickaxe durability. Man, that destroyed it a ton. Well, now it's time to start putting all of those materials to use and start building up my very first house, and it's going to look pretty cool. Also, here's the in-game day counter just to prove it's the right day. Anyways, I now started building up the front of the house. This front part was probably the most time consuming because of all of the details. But after that, I could then move on to the roof part of the front. And then to the side bits. This house was going to be an interesting shape. I also built this in my 100 days on a deserted island video. Oh yeah, I also added some other details to the front like glass windows. And then I could go ahead and finish off one of the sides of the house. I then started working on building up the back of the house, which is pretty much just a replica of the front part. And it was also around this time that I noticed something else with Bedrock Edition. Working with trapdoors is horrible. Everything's like 10 times more complicated for some reason. Apart from that, I built up the final wall of the house. I then built up half of a chimney, and then using loads of stone bricks, I filled in the roof, which was then followed by me finishing off everything else to do with this house. Just all the smaller details and stuff. Yeah, and not too long later, it was complete. Although this house did take about 8 days to complete, it was definitely worth it because it looks great. Inside the house, I added my own storage room with a bunch of chests and then made sure they were all sorted out as well. If I was going to have a storage room, I had to make sure it wasn't messy. And I guess something that I could do later is add some signs or item frames on this chest as well, just to show exactly what each chest is for, categorizing them. And well, now that was all complete, I had to start thinking about making some farms for food and other materials, like leather from cows or wool from sheep. You get the point. I started by making a wheat farm, which was going to be off the side of my house that I just built up. Not only would this be used for food, it was also a good decoration since, in my opinion, I think wheat farms look really cool. I also made sure to plant some potatoes since they could also be used as a decent food source. And after that, I went around and planted all the other crops, such as sugarcane, the melon seeds, as well as the pumpkin seeds too. I also still had some time left on this day. So since we needed this place looking as good as possible, I used some cobblestone walls to decorate these farms as well. Anyways, here's another update on the day counter, and today I started by crafting up loads of fences so I could go outside right next to those crop farms that I just made, and I then built up some animal pens. Now here I would only end up building 3 animal pens, one for chicken so I could get feather and eggs, and the other 2 would be used for sheep so I could get wool, and cows so I could get my hands on leather as well. I wasn't going to bother getting any pigs because the only real material you can get from them are pork chops, and honestly, I'd just rather them roam around freely. Yep, understand? Cool. Alright, next task. So now that I had all those animal pens built up, I could go ahead and start bringing some animals over. Starting with a sheep, then I brought over a chicken, followed by a cow, and then at the same time, I brought over another 2 sheep and 1 cow. That's convenient. And it would also definitely save me loads of time since I was bringing this many animals back all at once. Now, all I need is another chicken, but that would have to wait for another time because it's turning nighttime and I don't have time for that right now. How many times did I just say time? I did it again. All right. I then started the next day by crafting up a spyglass, as it would allow me to see things from further away since, you know, Optifine Zoom isn't exactly in Bedrock Edition. Can you guys see it? Off in the distance, I found another village. And wait a minute, hay bales! Yeah! Although collecting all these hay bales was a good thing, because, free food, obviously, that actually wasn't the main reason I was coming over to this village. No, I was actually here to start trapping villagers inside their houses, so I could keep the villagers alive even if it was nighttime and I didn't sleep or something. I wanted to save the villagers for if I made a trading hall or something later on in this world. Hello, librarian. What are you looking at? Nice view. But returning back home, I was now thinking about the nether. So I crafted up a shield, and some of you may be wondering why I haven't crafted a shield sooner, and that's because bedrock shields are kind of weird, and I don't properly know how to use them. So I was probably just better off not having one at all. But on top of all of that, I then went ahead and made a staircase. This was very insignificant and not important whatsoever. However, in the long run, I guess it would be convenient for whenever I need to go up and down this one specific spot. Well worth it. Wait for it. Guess what time it is, everybody? It's time for nether exploration. Yeah! Now, just a fair warning, this may have been one of the most chaotic days I have ever spent in the nether. Ever. Now, first of all, this spawn was interesting because I had to use the bedrock bridging method to get over to the main part of the nether. I did fall during this, almost potentially dying to fall damage, but luckily I landed on a tree. But aside from that, I went running around for a bit. Hey, what the? Oh, there are a lot of you, never mind. My main goal right now was to find a nether fortress, but instead of finding that, is that a bastion? Which is exactly where it gets a bit chaotic. You see, I started this bastion exploring part by almost falling to my death. This happened because a piglin shot me mid-air whilst I jumped, but it doesn't end there. Oh, that does not sound good. Oh, they're all down there. Hell no. Hell no! Yo! Oh my god! What? What the? Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, let me take this gold block. Where's the ghast now? Bro, there are so many things down there. Now, luckily, in one of the chests, I found a netherite upgrade template. I also got my hands on a new diamond pickaxe, but that pretty much sums up this entire bastion section. What? Okay, no, bro. We are not doing this. I am not dying today. I didn't want to risk my world anymore, so I just continued running looking for the fortress. Well, that running was short-lived because not too long later, I also found myself in a warped forest biome, which means I could farm loads of ender pearls here. I'm pretty sure I had like 4 or 5 ender pearls at home, so I didn't really need to gather too many here, but I ended up defeating so many endermen that I collected an extra 12 ender pearls. I guess there's nothing wrong with having a few extra. Okay, I don't think I can get distracted anymore because really all I need now are blaze rods, and I actually need to find a nether fortress for that. But it was still going to take me quite a bit longer than I would have liked to find. But I did end up finding this, and since I did run for quite a long time, I didn't want to come back to this nether fortress again, which means not only will I be collecting blaze rods, I will also be collecting 3 wither skeleton skulls for the wither at some point in the future too. And well, after collecting a total of 12 blaze rods, it was time for me to start collecting these skulls, and oh man, this was awful. If there is one thing I dislike about Bedrock, it is the shields, because it made this nether trip way harder than it would have needed to be. Oh yeah, on top of that, there was also like a billion, trillion, quadrillion damn mobs spawning on this fortress. It made it so annoying. I didn't have a single break. Wait, that dropped a skull and the piglin picked it up. What? No way. Yeah. Yes, bro. But in the end, I did push through and I managed to collect a total of 3 wither skeleton skulls. Get me out of this damn nether, man. I don't want to ever come back here again. This nether, dude. Sorry, I kind of dislike the nether, but today I had to deal with someone. That doesn't look like a sheep. What the heck are you doing in my farm? We're still yet to get another chicken. Surely I can get a chicken from this egg. All right, if this egg hatches a chicken, you all need to subscribe. Do not put that in the video. This was kind of a random day. You see, I just went ahead and did a bit of farming, then followed by running around, looking for loads of cows, since now I wanted to collect some leather to craft up some item frames as mentioned earlier. I now wanted to make these item frames as a way to categorize each chest in my storage room. I also saw a wandering trader and they had some pretty bad trades. Wait a minute, where did he go? I brought some chickens back home, crafted up the item frames, and then put items in each one. I also wanted to craft up some more chests and more item frames, blah, 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 boring task. Let's move on to something somewhat interesting again. Actually, I don't know about interesting. Oh, hello, zombie? Okay, so basically, all my armor is very close to breaking once again because of that nether trip. And today, and for the next few days, I was now going to go around in a bunch of different caves, again, mining up loads of diamonds. I found myself in a massive cave, but it literally had 1 diamond, 1 single diamond. What the heck is this luck? But lucky for me, these small diamond veins weren't going to last very long. More? Vein of 5, 7, 9? Wait, what am I doing? I have fortune. I was going to start finding even bigger veins. About damn time, Minecraft. I also saw 2 random drowns chilling in some water, and one of them was holding a trident. That is some pretty crazy luck that we managed to get our hands on that. However, putting that aside, I simply went around these caves for a few more days, gathering as many diamonds as I could. I wanted to get close to a stack of diamonds now. However, eventually, my luck streak came to an end, and I decided to leave these caves with a total of 43 diamonds. Honestly, that was pretty solid. Not too bad at all for a fairly quick mining session. And now, today, I was going to start preparing for the Ender Dragon fight. Using all the diamonds that I had just mined up, I crafted up another set of full diamond armor, as well as another diamond sword, and then obviously I gave it all some enchants. And since I'll probably need some arrows for this Ender Dragon fight, I went ahead and collected some flint to craft up a fletching table in hopes to get a fletching villager. However, going over to the village, no villagers wanted to take the profession. Come on, villager. Get a job. Can someone please explain to me how villages work? I don't understand this game. Thinking that these villagers were bugged, I went over to another village just in case, and they did the same as well. Man, I give up. Is what I would say if I was a loser. Yeah, nah. I went back to the first village and gave it one more attempt. And eventually, a villager took this profession. However, after trading some sticks to it for emeralds, I realized it didn't give me an arrow trade. Wait, it doesn't even trade arrows. Oh, screw you, dude. So instead, I dug up loads of gravel in hopes to get some flint. And then I crafted up my own arrows. Though doing this meant I could only unfortunately get a total of 24 arrows. But that would have to do, because on the following day, I crafted up some Eyes of Ender, and now it's time to go out and start exploring, looking for the stronghold. On my way, I found myself in a jungle biome, where I could collect some bamboo, jungle logs, cocoa beans, just so when I get back home after the dragon fight, I could make some extra farms. I also found a jungle temple. Yo, I have not seen one of these in ages. So I just looted that, which is also when I realized I forgot to craft up more golden apples. Oh well, hopefully this will be enough for the dragon fight. Eventually, the ender pearls kept turning around, so I dug straight down. Oh, what? Into the portal room? Damn, okay. I chucked all the eyes into the portal. However, I'm not going to do the dragon fight just yet. You see, I wanted to look for a library for books, which after finding a library, I collected loads of books and also got a crazy enchanted book. Like, damn, look at all these enchants. Anyways, after collecting a total of 2 stacks of books, it was time to return back to the portal. And now, it is time for the Ender Dragon fight. The pressure was on. I dug up out of the little spawn room and shot out the first crystal. I then built up on top of one of the obsidian pillars using dirt in hopes to get a better angle on the crystals. And as I shot the second crystal, the dragon knocked me off and I was falling to my death. But luckily, I water bucket clutched. I got on top of another obsidian pillar and started shooting out more crystals. Up here, the dragon also broke my helmet. Luckily, I had a replacement. The dragon was also perching, so I now had a little bit of time to shoot out a few more crystals. Before, again, the dragon came straight for me, hitting me off again. And I managed to water bucket clutch again as well. I was going crazy in this end fight. I broke the rest of the crystals, and then it was time to defeat the dragon, hitting it with my sword, taking out loads of its health. I then moved on to shooting it with my bow with the limited amount of arrows I had left, and then finally finishing it off with my sword once again. There we have it. The dragon was defeated in Bedrock Minecraft Hardcore. And now I could collect all the XP as well as the dragon egg, gather a few more ender pearls, and then head through the end gateway, exploring around for some end cities to get my hands on the elytra and some other loot. Running around, it took me a day to find my first end city. I was definitely probably blind or something. I wouldn't be surprised if I passed like a million end cities before finding this one. To get over to this end city, I used the bedrock bridging method to go over the void, and just to save me the hassle, I just pillaged straight up to the end ship. I only really cared about the elytra and the 2 chests, so yeah. I defeated a couple shulkers before looting the 2 chests and getting my hands on the first elytra of this world. Now, most people would probably end their end sessions off here, but no. Although I now had 1 elytra, that was not going to do. So I proceeded to loot another 3 end cities, gathering loads of loot and 3 more elytras. Oh boy, we are rich now. So rich that if I saw a $5 note on the ground, I wouldn't even bother picking it up. But now that has been done, I had to find my way back home, and the only way of me doing this was to go around exploring this vast outer end islands place, looking for a randomly spawning end gateway. And after running around for a while, I did find this. So I went through, as well as the end portal in the middle of the end island, and that concludes my end trip. And well, now, on the following day, I went ahead and crafted up an anvil so I could go ahead and start making better armor. I combined armor from the end cities to make the best armor I could at the moment, and then I went ahead outside and started planting all the crops that I collected from the jungle biome earlier, which was then followed by me crafting up enough bookshelves for a max level enchant table. Though I couldn't use this today since it was getting pretty late. I then went ahead and started looking at how to craft up a grindstone so I could start removing some enchants. And then... no. God damn it, Creeper. How could you? I quickly repaired my house, and then using the enchant table, I got myself a better pickaxe and helmet. So now I had really good armor and tools, which meant I could start the next phase of this world. Collecting loads of wood and loads of beds. I went around to multiple villages on this day, collecting as many beds as I could get my hands on, because I was about to start doing something very soon. Netherite mining! Alright, yeah, so after all that, I managed to get my hands on 13 ancient debris, and returning back home, I started smelting everything throughout the night. I was now going to use all the netherite that I just collected, but before I could even use that, I had to duplicate a bunch of the netherite upgrade templates, and that was going to cost a whole lot of diamonds. Lucky I went mining again earlier. I upgraded 2 of my armor pieces, as well as my pickaxe, and then I actually spent the rest of the day flattening out a bunch of land that was right in front of my house. I was actually about to do a bunch of building in this area. And, well, before I could do that, this place had to be nice, flat, and easy to build on. Unfortunately for me, this was way easier to do now because I had all those great enchantments on all my tools. I just said I was going to do a bunch of builds, and, well, before I could even start doing all that building, I was going to need to collect loads of materials. I was going to be collecting the same materials that I collected the other day for my house build, and quite a lot of it as well. This was mainly the wood and stone, which then meant I could start working on the first build on this land. This thing was absolutely horrible, I'm not going to lie, and I don't want to talk about it either. I was going to start working on a blacksmith building because I thought it could be a cool addition to this area. The idea that I had in mind was I was going to build a structure for all the main tasks, I guess you could call them. Basically, a blacksmith to have all the furnaces and anvils, a windmill to be the centerpiece of a massive farm, but we'll get back to that in a bit. But yeah, this is how the blacksmith building ended up turning out. It is still missing a whole lot of details, though I would have to do that at a later date, especially when I got time to do a whole lot of mining for coal. But we don't have time for that right now, because now it is time to build up a windmill. And if any of you guys have watched my 100 days on a deserted island video, you'll exactly know how this is going to end up looking like. But pretty much, the main body of this building would be built up using stone bricks, and then the top would be made out of wood, and then the roof would also be made out of stone bricks. Not to mention, the actual blade parts of this build would then also be built up with loads of wool, which I would be able to collect loads of from my sheep farm. Anyways, this was now complete. Boom! I started filling in some of the land with a giant wheat farm, obviously to add more details, and to fill in the empty space out a little bit. I'll have to add more structures here at some point, maybe in 200 days if I end up doing that. I could build things like a fisherman hut or something. I don't know. Give me ideas in the comments down below. And for some reason, since I thought digging out a bit of a chunk right next to the blacksmith building was a cool idea, I did it. Yeah, I don't know why. I thought it could be interesting having this here. It's like they were digging out all the materials out of the ground for the blacksmith. I don't know. I'm trying my hardest to be creative here, all right? Man, I need to change up from this building theme again. Let's do something else. Something else I did. Kind of. I mean, today I just went around in different caves and stuff looking for coal ore that I could mine up using my Silk Touch pickaxe. This was going to be used so I could add some decorations to that ugly blacksmith building. I went around adding like like a stack of coal ores to the outside of the blacksmith in like different big piles. And since I also had some extra, I placed some inside the building too. You know what? Maybe this building isn't too bad now. All right, so my next goal now is to actually get some totems of undying. And for that, I was going to need a bottle of bad omen. Now, to get that, I was either going to have to wait for a pillager to spawn, or I could spend an entire day running around looking for a pillager outpost. Yeah, that's what I did if you couldn't get what I was hinting towards. Eventually, I found a pillager outpost. It's also very tall. God damn, this thing's tall. What the heck? But putting that aside, here I needed to obviously get the bottle of bad omen, and to get that, you have to defeat the pillager that has the banner on their head. So I had to go around defeating all the pillagers until one would eventually show up, which meant I could get the bottle and then run back home in preparations to start a raid. I started by looking for a village the next day. I didn't want to pick a village anywhere near my house, just in case the villagers die. And in the future, I might want to build up a villager trading hall or something, so I'll need all the villagers I can get. I ended up finding a village. However, the raid didn't actually want to start, which meant I had to continue running around looking for another one. I ended up going back to the Acacia village from the beginning of the world, and fortunately, the raid did start this time, meaning I could now go around and fight off all the raid mobs. And eventually, I even managed to get quite a few totems. Now, I didn't really need to start a raid. However, because I wanted to defeat the Wither at some point, I needed to make sure I could be as safe as possible, since the Wither in Bedrock Edition is apparently way harder than Java Edition. Or that's what everyone said in the comments on my last Bedrock video. But yeah, eventually I got all the totems so I could return back home. Oh, and back at home, I quickly sorted through all my chests and even crafted up some more golden apples. Again, making sure I was as safe as possible. We were quite far through these 100 days, and if anything were to go wrong now, that would kind of suck. And well, this was it. On the following day, I went out exploring looking for a cave, and eventually I found one. I was going to spawn the Wither inside this cave because hopefully that would prevent it from flying around too much. I placed the 4 soul sand and the 3 Wither skeleton skulls, and now it's time. I started shooting at the Wither with my bow, and I don't know if this is a bug or just something that doesn't exist on Bedrock Edition, but apparently I didn't get the Wither effect when it attacked me. I kept switching between my sword and the bow, dealing as much as possible until it charged at me, making me use a totem of undying. It also spawned some Wither skeletons that got me fairly low on health as well. I guess there's the Wither effect. I kept damaging it, eventually defeating the Wither in Bedrock Minecraft Hardcore. Boom! And since it was nighttime by the time I got back up to the surface, I had to craft a beacon on the following day, collecting materials like obsidian and smelting sand for glass, so I could go ahead and craft up the beacon. And finally, using all my iron and emeralds, I placed some blocks down and activated the beacon. I also did some farming, and that sums this day up. So recently, I got loads of totems, fought the Wither, and even got a beacon. So what can I do now since I still have 11 days left in this challenge? Well, I currently only have 3 pieces of netherite armor and tools. So for the next few days, I went around shearing sheep for wool. I wanted to get as much wool as possible so I could craft up some beds. But apparently, sheep are rarer than villagers in this world or something, because I run around so much only to find a few sheep. Also, since I haven't done this in a little while, there's the day counter. Little update for you all. My luck did eventually turn around because off in the distance, I found another village, and that meant I could shear some more sheep. Hello, sheep. Give me your wool. Oh my gosh. Whoa. You guys are getting your wool back so fast. Another? This is an infinite wool glitch right now. Again? Okay, I think they're done. Additionally, I could also steal all the beds and other wool blocks from this village too. And whilst I'm here, I may as well, you know, take the hay bales, because how could I say no to free food? I do like me some free food. After taking everything I really needed from this village, it was time for me to run back home. And as I was preparing for the nether, something interesting happened. No way! No way, bro! Oh my gosh, that is so much damage. Yep, that's not fun at all. Putting that aside, it's now time to go netherite mining and hopefully get enough ancient debris for full netherite armor and tools. I mean, I have a full shulker box of beds and pretty much a full inventory too, so how wrong could this possibly go? Quite wrong. Yeah, so I used pretty close to a full inventory worth of beds without getting any ancient debris. It was only when I was onto my last few beds that I managed to get 3 ancient debris. This may be my unluckiest netherite mining session ever. Luckily though, I still had that full shulker box worth of beds, but honestly, it wasn't looking too good at all. Just kidding. After using all these beds, I ended up with another 14 ancient debris. And no more totems. And combining that with my 2 netherite scraps that I still had in my chest back in my house, I could get full netherite armor, as well as most of my tools as well. I smelted all the ancient debris that I just mined up, which then led onto another problem. I didn't have enough gold to craft up all the ingots. So using my silk touch pickaxe, I returned back to the nether and mined up all the gold ore blocks that were scattered around the place. I could then chuck these ore blocks into a furnace to get the ingot form, and just like that, I could now craft up 4 netherite ingots, allowing me to upgrade my armor and tools. Wait, hold on a minute. I only have 1 upgrade template and not enough diamonds to duplicate it. Yeah, I had to go mining again. Going around the caves, collecting a few more diamonds. Honestly, I really should have used the level 30 enchant table to get fortune 3 on my pickaxe. It definitely would have sped this whole process up, but oh well. I ended up collecting 29 diamonds, which meant I could go back home and finish off my netherite armor and tool upgrades. But to do this, I had to duplicate my netherite upgrade templates using all the diamonds that I had just collected, and then I could use all the netherite ingots, all 4 of them. But not everything went well on this day. Oh my... Not again, man! Another one? One thing you should probably notice from this clip is that I didn't have any of my armor on, nor did I have a totem since I lost them all in the nether. Yeah, I could have lost the world on day 100 by that creeper just then. That's kind of crazy. Also, since I had 1 more ingot left, I max enchanted a brand new diamond axe and upgraded that. And there we have it. That was 100 days in Bedrock Minecraft Hardcore. Consider subscribing. I'll be doing a face reveal at 500,000 subscribers. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.